Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in New Vienna, Iowa. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Sunday, January 10th, 2021. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see you guys again. Everyone listening on the podcast version or watching this on YouTube after the fact, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys. It is a nice day here in Iowa. A little bit colder than it's been. I think it's going to get colder and then warmer again. I don't know. It's always a little bit of a roller coaster here. But I got some miles in on the Heritage Trail. It was snowy, but some snowmobiles had been through, which is, I think, pretty common for that trail. Even though I don't think that I don't know if they're technically allowed on there or not. But there's lots of snowmobile tracks. But it actually made for some good running conditions. So I'm feeling pretty good today. Let's see how you guys are doing, how your guys' runs have been going over the weekend. We've got Philip Bourne here saying, what's going on? New week ahead. Anyone else excited? I'm still closing out this week. Sunday is like the end of my week for like running purposes. So I'm still focusing on the end of this week. Then tomorrow I'll think about the next week. Teddy Man is back. Good to see you again. Walter Souza says, yeah, he's got a 38-mile. I think that means you have a 38-mile week coming up. Sounds like fun. Charles Ventura is here. Inez is here. Inez, how's the pup? How's Pip's paw doing? Sue N says, hello, early birds. Good to see you again, Sue. And Chris Yao says, what's up, team? Everyone doing well? I hope everyone's doing okay. Sarah Mim says, hey, all, I am ready for winter running, but wow at all the laundry. Yeah, it does make so much laundry. And I've been trying to figure out a way to like not create so much. But I'm spoiled here because, there's the washer and dryer. Normally, like in Chicago, like, doing laundry is like a much bigger deal. Here it's just like, you just throw it in whenever you want. So it's been nice. But like I've been trying to like not use so much water. I know it takes up a lot of resources to like kind of run the laundry. So, but then again, if I like want to like lay everything out and let it dry out and air out, then it just takes up so much more space. And that's something else that I'm trying to do. But yeah, the laundry gets overwhelming. Let's see who else is here today. Rick Sutter's here. He says, what's good? What's going on, Rick? And yeah, Luis Becerra's here as well. Says, yo, what's going on? And Jody's here. Says, good day, everyone. Day 3 of 3 of lockdown. Here's hoping government remove restrictions after no new cases. Also back to working from home today as leave is over. All right. Okay. I wasn't really all that clear on what was going on for you, Jody. I figured when you said like day 2 of 3 yesterday that it was going to be a short term, but I didn't know like they needed to have no new cases for that to happen. I mean, that's something that I can't even fathom, over here. Like the idea that like there would be no new cases is quite incredible. But hopefully that works out for you guys down there. All right, we got some more comments coming in. Bert is here. Good to see you again, Bert. So try my handmade stability insoles today. Made based on a 3D foot scan. They feel pretty good and appropriate for my overpronating flat feet. Wow. That sounds amazing. I wouldn't think that would work, but like that's incredible that it does. Because like when you start out with like handmade stability insoles, I was like, oh boy. But if it's made on a 3D foot scan, that sounds pretty interesting. It made me think, though. I was listening to, I read the book, Win at All Costs or Winning at All Costs. And that book talked a lot about like Kara Goucher's experience with her coaches at Nike and how they were just like put together insoles made out of like duct tape and just like stuff them in her shoes. And they were just trying to figure it out. And I was just like, I can't believe that that's like how things were going on over there at such an elite level. That's what came to mind. But things at 3 foot scan, I was like, oh, okay. So it's probably not just duct tape over an existing insole. Will Willing says, 4 inches of snow in Lubbock, Texas. Going to do my first snow up after the show. Wow. That's amazing. I have some friends down in Texas and like, they've been getting like, I've seen some pictures of like dustings of snow. I haven't seen any Texas and 4 inches pictures yet. But I've seen people like posting pictures of snow like from the Austin area, and I'm just like, wow, everyone's so excited. That's great. But like I was kind of doing like, that's not snow, this is snow. I was playing that game, trying not to make anyone feel bad about it, but I'm happy for people's enthusiasm for the snow down there. I mean, and I totally understand how in like places that are further south, like it becomes like exponentially more difficult to deal with smaller and smaller amounts of snow. Not that smaller amounts, but like even less snow has a more disparate kind of impact because you're just not set up for it. So I totally understand that. Oh boy, here's some news. Oren McGowan says, I tested positive along with 3 others in my family. Sorry to hear that, Oren. Be well. Take care of yourself. Man, that's such a bummer. Hopefully you guys are going to have a quick course of things. Yeah, I'm sorry, Oren. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Rinky Lee says, good end to the week with a new 5K PB. Awesome. Let's get them cowbell in here for that. There we go. Achieve my goal of sub 25 minutes. Going to be pushing for sub 20 this year. Whoa, that's going to be a big upgrade. Hold on. I got to do something to my my headphones. I turned on like the noise canceling earlier. I was actually using these, and like whenever I come back to the live stream, it always sounds so weird when I do that. So I don't know. I'm just gonna sound weird to myself all day. Sorry about that. I tried to fix it, but I didn't get to do it. But Rinky, awesome, great work. Ben Browning says good morning from sunny Sydney. Awesome. It's still really bizarre to me. Because I've never experienced it and I would love to experience it. That like the Southern Hemisphere is in summer right now. Just doesn't make sense to me. I still have a hard time with it. BKLY Night 86. I'm not sure what that means. Bookley Night says, have you tried a weighted vest? I have not tried a weighted vest before, and that reminds me, if anyone's got a running question, or if it's your first time here, let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to welcome you. But there's no structure for today. We're just a whole bunch of people that like running, hanging out. If you have a question, feel free to drop it into the chat. And if I've missed it earlier, because you put it in early and I scrolled down too far, feel free to put it in there again. I apologize that I missed it. But going back to the question about the weighted vest, I've not tried a weighted vest before. I've run with, run commuting backpacks on. So I've had a variety of different kind of weights, but nothing that like was so specific as a weighted vest before. My bigger concern with running with the weighted vest was like the extra impact on the joints. But it didn't stop me from run commuting. And so like I had some weight, but it wasn't something for me that I felt like I needed. I think that if I were looking for more power and I wanted to do more shorter events, rather than like half marathons and marathons, then it might be something I would consider. But I would rather then at that point do like plyometric exercises, like box jumps, that kind of thing. Things that are more intended to work on more explosive efforts rather than having the weighted vest. But, I'm also not doing a lot of those things. So I'm not like really into like what is the science for like the middle distance runners, or the shorter distance runners. So I'm not sure if that's what they're doing or not. Japs Manga Lubnan says, hello from Philippines. Welcome. How you guys doing over there? Kurs0002 says, would you buy the Zoomfly Flyknit today? I probably wouldn't buy it today because I'd rather spend my money towards newer shoes just for the purpose of reviewing them for the channel. Do I think it's a good shoe to buy? Yeah, I like it. As long as I can. My concern would be that I'm not getting a new one. I wouldn't want the one that's been like just sitting in a box in a warehouse for like a couple of years. That just concerns me a little bit. But I don't know if they're making continuing to make new ones. So like, I don't know, depending on the price, if I was looking for a bargain, then it might be something that I would pull the trigger on. But of the Zoomflies, the Zoomfly Flyknit is my favorite. Eric Rose Johnson says, no running this weekend. Got a big tattoo Friday, so taking a few days off. Oh, I wonder how big of a tattoo does it have to be to make you take a couple of days off running? Is it just generally you don't want to get it like sweaty or chafed or something like that? Or is it like it's that big where it's like, you're like bedridden? You're like bed rest is like what you need? I've never had a tattoo, so I wouldn't know. A lot of my in-laws seem to be getting them. Not my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. My father-in-law already has a tattoo, but my in-laws seem to be getting them, and like some of my nieces and nephews too. I don't know. I wonder if that's been a very popular thing during the pandemic. I wonder what their numbers are like. I don't know any tattoo artists that could tell me anything about that, though. Yeah, Stevie76 says, would it be stale Zoom X? I mean, it's like what's React foam in the Zoom Fly Flyknit. So like I don't know. I mean, React seems to last forever, so maybe it's not a bigger problem. But yeah, I don't think I'd be too concerned. But I think it'd be good to have. I think it'd be okay. If you really want the Zoom Fly Flyknit, go for it. I mean, I think they're still making, I don't know if they're still making it, but people are still buying like the Zoom Fly SP, like the version like 1.5 that they made. It's still got Lunarlon and that like carbon infused nylon plate that they had. So people are still buying those, and some people still really like them. But that's been a long time, I think, since they made any new ones. But I could be wrong on that. Eric says for his tattoo, it goes from the wrist to above the elbow. And yes, it's mostly to protect it from infection. It's an octopus. Oh, that sounds cool. Very cool. When you said that, like that, it was like you couldn't run because of the tattoo. I was envisioning something from like butt cheek to ankle, like something like on your legs, just wrapping all the way around. I mean, that would be pretty cool too. Not that an octopus isn't cool. I love octopuses. They seem to be very smart creatures. Very cool. Kerr says about the Zoomfly Flyknit, he saw it at an outlet, or Kerr saw it at an outlet for $60. That's an amazing price. It's great. That's a great price. But Reed Moore says, not a Lunarlon fan personally. And that the Zoomfly Flyknit isn't Lunarlon, it's React. But the ones before it, the Zoomfly and the Zoomfly SP are Lunarlon. And I mean, I didn't love Lunarlon. It wasn't my favorite. But in the Zoomfly, it worked, you know. But I mean, there was a time where, you know, just like everything is React now, everything was like Lunar for, well, not everything, but a lot of things were Lunar with Nike shoes. And so there was a lot of people that have like really fond memories of Lunar. Nam Mealy says, do you have a Summit discount code? Yes, Kofuzi. So if you use Kofuzi, you'll get, I think it's $25. I don't know if it's $50. I think it's $25 off. Kofuzi. Yeah, hopefully it'll show up. I'm going to be doing a live session. My session is going to be Saturday at 2. And then I don't know if it's 30 minutes or 45 minutes, but I've been putting together some thoughts on it in terms of how I'm going to present the information, but it's something that I kind of have been procrastinating on a little bit, but we'll get there. Pete G1980 says, what's going on? Pete says, hi Kofuzi, how's it going? Just bought some Saucony Endorphin Shift. I still got those downstairs. I run in them like twice. I'd like to put some more miles into that one. I'm a little bit scared of it because it's like, it just seems so tall and it seems like there's so much like medial posting on it, but we'll see. I think I could probably run in it now. Stevie76 says, what up, fam? Awesome. Teddyman Tactico says, if it hadn't been for the pandemic, I would have never run in my life nor befriended a single runner. Awesome. Well, welcome to the running community. I mean, I'm not saying it was worth it for more people to come to running, but like I'm glad we can have that silver lining that people are finding new things that they might not have otherwise found. And in the long run says, I miss the old school Lunar racers. See, I what's going on, Josh? I never raced in any of the Lunar racers. So like that was during like my break from running a little bit. So I never experienced them. My experience with Lunar is with the Zoom Flies. So that's it. But I'm aware of all the other Lunars that were out there. People love those Lunar racers though. Like that's like people talk. I feel like people talk about those like other people talk about old school Cliftons. Not for the same use case, but you know those old Lunars. People just got. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it was for a while. I was looking to test some of them out. I could never find them because I just feel like they were all gone. People bought them up. Let's see. Vince Vanderpera says Infinity Run is garbage. Are you talking about the version 1 or the version 2? I was watching some people's reviews on the version 2. People seem to really like it. People really like the version 1 as well. So There we go. I mean, I'm sorry it didn't work out for you, Vince. Datless says, will the Asics Nova Blast make overpronation worse? Thanks. It probably will a little bit. I mean, if you've got an overpronation problem, like if you're someone that normally runs in stability shoes, it's not a shoe that I would generally recommend. I mean, it's squishy. I think that when people run in it, it looks worse than it is. Like it looks like everything's like crashing in and everything's like really coming in. But like I don't think the actual impact on the ankles is quite as bad as it looks. At least for me. Like I mean, I look at my foot running in slow motion all the time, and it's just I look at it and I'm like, that looks terrible, but I don't feel any of that like crashing in. So I don't know. Remy says, realizing that with all my runs before sunrise and working from home, I haven't been out in the sun in a really long time. Yeah, I know the feeling because here it's just been really like gray and dreary. So like even when the sun is up, it's still not that bright. When the sun is out, you're just like, whoa, what is that? Scotty B, what's going on? Scotty says, hey, I'll check in. Wood workshop day. He's doing a dining room table build. Oh, that's awesome. Cool. So do you have me on like the wood shop? That's crazy. Like there's like a saw or like a sander going and you're like, oh, what's Kofuzi saying? That'd be kind of incredible. Hopefully I'm not too distracting. Or McGowan says, what's the difference between the Zoom Fly 3 and the Zoom Fly Flying It? I think there's a pretty big difference. The Zoom Fly 2, I felt like was a really good. I really love that one. The Zoom Fly 3 was great. Not as much love for me as the Zoom Fly 2. It was a bit heavier, has a different upper material. It had like, was it Vapor Weave? It was something like Vapor Weave. Something like that was in the Zoom Fly Next Percent, but not exactly the same. It was like a step down. The outsole, like the midsole and the outsole pattern were modeled to look like the Zoom Fly, the Vaporfly Next Percent. And I feel like the overall ride of it made it feel very close. Like the Zoom Fly 3 felt very close to the Next Percent, whereas the Zoom Fly Flying It and the Vaporfly 4% were very different shoes, in my opinion. But as far as use cases go, they were intended to be used the same way, where one is like the racer, and then the Zoom Fly was like the training companion, like the faster long day. It had a really nice carbon fiber plate in it, bunch of React foam in the midsole. So they're serving the same purpose, but very different, not very, but pretty different ride mechanics, I would say. Tim Tudor says, hi, brand new subscriber and first time watching your live. Any recommendations? Welcome, by the way. Thanks for watching and thanks for tuning in. There's any recommendations on similar shoes to the Epic Reacts? I'm in need for new shoes. I mean, the question that how I always answer that for a lot of people is, if you love the Epic Reacts, go try and find another pair of Epic Reacts. That's what I would say. If you like that but want to try something new or can't find any more Epic Reacts, I think another place to look would be the 1080 version 10. That I think is a pretty similar feel. It's a little bit bigger of a shoe. It's a little bit more like in the max cushion category of a shoe than the Epic React were. But in terms of like that fresh Foamex feel underfoot, I feel like that's pretty similar. I feel like if you want a little bit more trimmed down of an experience than in the Epic React, I would say the New Balance Beacon, the version 3 or the version 2, I think are good options as well, that are going to give you that kind of like, oh, this is a bouncy shoe. It's kind of fun to run in. I like it, like that kind of feel. Those are shoes that I would probably look to. All right. Gonna just look through some more of these comments. Teddy Man Tactical says, nothing made me happier during my running journey more than hearing Kofuzi praising the Nike Pegasus 33, since these were the very first running Nikes I ever bought for running. Oh, awesome. Very cool. I mean, I talk about it like it's a fine wine. I mean, like the 33 was a really good year. I think it was, but I kind of joke about it, but I'm also pretty serious. I liked it. And you know what I was thinking? Because I was watching, who was I running? I was watching Run for Adventure's review of the Infinity Run React 2, or whatever combination of words it is to make that shoe name. And he's talking about how it's got like all this new stuff in it. It's got fly in it. It's got fly wire cables. I'm like, Nike's like not going back to the drawing board, but it feels like they're going back in time and some of like the other stuff that they've been using. So like they were kind of like getting all crazy with like the giant Zoom Air pockets and then Vaporweave or like Atom Knit, but now they're going back to like Fly Knit, fly wire cables. I mean, it's like we're going back in time, but with React Foam now. So there's that. So I think that's interesting that the fly wire cables are coming back, because I remember them. 33. Did the 34 still have them? I think the 34 had them, but then they started to hide them a little bit more. And then I don't know. I feel like we've kind of gotten away from like fly wire cables. I don't know if they're still in there or not, but they're not talking about them. It used to be like a main feature. John Ty says, "Love your reviews, man. Quick question. I usually run 2 to 3 easy runs, 1 tempo, and 1 long run per week. So like 4 or 5 runs per week. Where do you think the sucking endorphin speeds would fit in here? Thanks again, man. Love the vids." I would put them for both your tempo and your long run. So like you could do it that way, or at least your tempo. That's where I would fit it in, depending on how your long run is. If your long run is just like, nice and easy, just going out with the run group, getting out there for like 2 hours and everyone's kind of just hanging out and it's really relaxed, maybe not the endorphin speed, then I would save it for just your tempo. But like, I don't know, lately, maybe part of the biggest reason is because of the cold. I just don't want to be out there for longer than 2 hours. But my long run, I've been like, let's put some a little bit, at least moderate paces in there, speed it up a little bit. So like the endorphin speed fits in really well. But that's where I would put it in. For the easy runs, I don't think you really need it. But like if you just want to, I mean, if you only have one shoe, it could do all that. It can handle it all. But I would probably, if you're running that many times a week, I'd probably at least have 2 shoes, and so get something else for those 2 to 3 easy runs. Yeah. Flygun 90 says the 35 had totally hidden wires. So then in the 36, did we lose them? Is the Pegasus Flywire cable free? I want to say that it is. Justin May says, watching this live stream, getting all rolled out and ready for the run. Oh, awesome, Justin. Hope you have a good run today. And Brendan says, I can't wait to test out the ZoomX Invincible. What's going on, Brendan? I mean, it's an interesting idea. I like that it's the all ZoomX and bunch of it shoe. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's like, I wonder if like how long that was in the works, or if that was like, oh man, people are loving this Nova Blast, the shoe that doesn't make sense because it's so insanely squishy. Maybe it's time. But then I'm also worried about the ZoomX Invincible because I was like, well, it used to be, I thought it was supposed to come out on the 7th, same time, at least in a lot of markets, as the Infinity React 2, but it didn't. And then I'm hearing now that a release date's been pushed to February 10th for the ZoomX Invincible, at least for a lot of markets. I don't know if it's going to be that way in the US. And I'm wondering if it's going the same route of the Vomero 15, where like the Vomero 15 we didn't see, and the US isn't, I don't think, going to get, because there was production issues, presumably because of the ZoomX foam. I don't know. I don't know how difficult it is to make ZoomX foam. It must be really hard with as many like shoes that Nike's made and how long they've been working with ZoomX foam now, that they're still having these different production issues with it. I mean, maybe the trick is like they're having a hard time making it at the price points that they need to, or I don't know. Maybe there's something different about the ZoomX now that they're having these issues. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see when that shoe comes out. I'm not certain if I'm going to get it. Maybe. Steven Gersdorf says the Peg 29 had Flywire and Zoom Air only in the heel, but man, that shoe was great. Yeah, I mean, I think the 32 was my first Pegasus that I ever ran in. So I didn't have experience with them going that far back. But that's going back. Reed Moore says, I haven't purchased a Nike since the Peg 36, but these new shoes have me tempted. I think that Nike's going to sell a bunch of their Infinity React 2s and the ZoomX Invincibles. What's the list going to be on that ZoomX Invincible? It's got to be expensive, right? It's probably going to be like a $160 shoe. Either way, I think they're still going to sell a ton of them. But like the other thing I don't like about it is like I like Flyknit, and then this is not the Zoom. I mean, I think this applies to the Zoom X Invincible and the React Infinity Run 2 Run React. Is like I don't like puffy shoes. There's just so much. I think they're adding more padding, and I'm like, what I liked about the Infinity React Run 1 is that it was just Flyknit, and there wasn't a bunch of other stuff in there. That's what I loved about the Epic React. I don't want all the other padding. But like this time, but now they're like, we're gonna have Flyknit and a bunch of puffy foam in there, and I'm like, the shoes are getting heavier as it is. There's more padding that's going in there. I don't know, but then it's like Flyknit and Flywire cables. It's like things I like and things I don't like, and it's got me conflicted. Christopher Rochelle says, whatever combination of words to make the shoe name, it's definitely how I've been feeling about Nike shoe names lately. In their defense, their shoe names have always been that horrible, but like everyone was just ignored the words. But since the Infinity Run React, everyone's been saying all the words. For example, like the Alpha Fly is the Nike Zoom X Vaporfly Next Alpha. No, it's a Nike Vaporfly, Nike Alpha Fly Next Percent. Like Next Percent is in the name of the Alpha Fly. No one just ever says that though, right? So it's just weird. And like the Nike is the Zoom Air Nike Pegasus, but everyone just says Pegasus. So like, we've just been ignoring all the words. But with the Infinity Run React, no one calls it just the Infinity or the Infinity Run. We always have to fit the React in there somewhere. I don't know why we're doing that. We should all just stop. I haven't seen that in a Nike shoe since the Lunar Epics. Which like, then I was just like, why are we calling them Epic React if there's the Lunar Epics? Why don't we call them the React Epics? That doesn't quite have the same like rolling off the tongue. But Nike names have never made much sense. But they're not as bad as like Skechers names are just absolutely miserable. I'm having a hard time with some of the Reebok names as well. Saucony names, all the brands that are having like their middle like mini collections are making it tough too, because then you've got like Fresh Foam, a bunch of Fresh Foam names in the words in the names, or like Endorphin, or so like names are getting ridiculous lately. We got to figure out a way to shorten it up. I mean, I don't think the answer is to go with New Balance's like numbering system, but something in the middle, please. All right. The Haas Dog one says, what's the best way to structure a 10K progression run in terms of pace? I tried to increase the pace in small amounts per K, but messed it up. Any tips? I mean, if like going faster by every K isn't doing it for you. I mean, for me, if I were doing a 10K progression run, I mean, I would do that in terms of miles, because I'm on what are they standard? Well, I'm on what are they Imperial? Whatever. I'm on miles, so I would do it by miles. But if like doing it every kilometer is like too many, bumps up, do it every other kilometer, like every 2 kilometers is the way you could do it. So I would probably have like the first 4 kilometers one way, and then 6, 8, and 10, or at 6 and at 8, and go up that way. With like maybe like the last half kilometer, just like whatever you got left, depending on how hard you want the workout to be. So that might be a way to do it. Or like if you still want to do every kilometer, just wait. So get to like 6 kilometers in, then 7, 8, 9. So that could be another way to do it. Yeah, Steven Gerzer said before Lunar Law, Nike had Cushlon. I mean, Nike still had Cushlon until last year. Not last year, I guess the year before. I mean, I guess now we're in 2021. But in 2019, the Pegasus 36 was still Cushlon. It was, I mean, last year was the first year we had a non-Cushlon Pegasus, as far as I can remember. So I'm going back to the 32. I don't know if people that can go back early remember a different carrier foam, but I remember Cushlon. I like Cushlon. It definitely like died over time. So like, but I thought it was pretty good. Kurt says, have you seen the Hyperfly? I've not seen the Hyperfly. A new 5K 13.1 racer, ZoomX midsole. Not sure about the plate. I wonder if that replaces the Zoom Streak. But I like that idea. Kind of like a turbo, but without the React in it. And maybe a plate. I mean, if they put that shank or like the stuff that they had kind of like in the middle of the midsole and outsole of the Zoom Streak in it, that'd be interesting. Whatever that honeycomb pattern was in there, I feel like that gave it a really nice rigidity and like snapback. That was really nice about that shoe. Sean Marshall says, I think my first peg was the 20. Loved it. Then the 22 was garbage. Or barfy face. I'll call that barfy face. Oh, by the way, here's the poop emoji that my daughter made for me. It's made out of these like beads and then you iron them together, but it's a poop emoji. So now when I play with my kid, the reason I bring it up is there's an emoji on the screen now, but I've had it at the desk because I've been meaning to show you guys. I just keep forgetting the past couple of days. But when I play with the baby now and she gives me play food, I then give her this back. Jana says, the Invincible looks like they just collected all the stuff people did like in Nike shoes since like the 4% and put it into one shoe. I think that's how I feel about like the Infinity 2, but the Invincible to me, it just, the way they designed the midsole, it reminds me of the Prestos and like the outsole, that kind of like bubbly design, it's coming from the Infinity Rack, the Infinity, React. The Infinity, I'm just gonna call it the Infinity. The Infinity has the outsole pattern that kind of looks that way too. So like they're definitely like kind of like related shoes. But like, when I see that like bubbly like pattern that's in that outsole or in like the midsole and the Invincible, it reminds me of the Presto. So I'm like, so is this not really a running shoe? Is this just a running inspired shoe? Is this another Joyride? That's the thing that I'm really concerned about with this Invincible. I'm like, every time I see the Invincible, I give it a big healthy dose of side A because I'm like, I don't know about this. I mean, maybe that's why I need to try it, but I'm just like, I don't know. Is this going to be like Joyride beads on the bottom? I'm not sure. I mean, if it is and it works out and a lot of new people are running and enjoying it, great. It just might not be for me, but I don't know. All right, let's keep going down here. Let's see. Reed Morris says, will you try the base model version 2? Maybe. We'll see. I'm not sure. I'm not like super excited about it. I still haven't put a lot of miles in my Atreyu base model version 1. So like I still need to put more in it. When I got it, I felt like it was not great. I got it at around the same time as like my knee issues were popping up. And those two things didn't go very well together. I just felt like it really like sent a lot of shock up to the knee. And so I avoided it for a while. I don't think it was making it worse, but I just think that it was just like, it was like making my weaknesses very apparent. So I was like, I got to take a break from this shoe. So we'll see. I'd like to get some more miles in it. And like right around now, this time of year, there's not as many releases of shoes. And so like from like January to March, I try to like finish whatever I can. And whatever I don't finish by like once it starts getting warmer again, that's when things just kind of like, right, I just didn't get to it. But we'll see what I can get to in the next couple months. Let's see. There was one that I just AAQ says, ever tried the Gore-Tex Pegasus for trail running? Like the Pegasus Gore-Tex Trail? I have tried it for trail running. I really like it. I enjoy it a lot. It's good on trail. It's good on dirt road. It's okay on pavement. It's a pretty good shoe. I like it. I mean, I love Gore-Tex, so that helps it a lot. But yeah, I've been enjoying it. I haven't tried the Pegasus Shield this year. I didn't love the Pegasus 36 Shield. I felt like there was something off about it. It was really, it was like too stiff or something like that. It always kind of felt like the Zoom Air pods for me were dead, or like there was something the opposite of Zoom Air was in it. So I didn't love it, and so I think I'm going to pass on the 37 Shield. Instead, I've opted for the Gore-Tex Trail. It's nice. Frank LaHoulier says, the only thing I remember about shoe tech in high school were people arguing about whether AirPods or gel pods were better, and a lot of people arguing about the shape of the last. That's funny. I remember like being so envious of people that I never had running shoes that had air in them, I don't think. And so I just remember being envious of them. And like people with like Air Maxes, like in high school, I was just like, whoa. Those are amazing shoes. I would never be able to have those. Those are incredible. That's what I remember. So like all those like the Air Max 90s that are coming out, like those are the shoes that made me feel bad in high school. So I've never worn any one of them before. I don't know if I'd ever buy them, but like I have a weird relationship with them, I guess. Will Willing says, when people run a 5K time trial, are they running on a track or a road course? I think when people do a 5K time trial, they're running whatever. Either one is fine. It's a time trial, so it's like you do it wherever you want. Ideally, you're doing it somewhere where it's flat and not that affected by weather, so you can just get a sense of how you're doing. That's the point of the time trial, is like a gauge of your fitness. So I wouldn't necessarily do it on a downhill, or I wouldn't pick a hilly course or anything like that. But my understanding is when people say 5K, they mean road. When people say 5,000 meters, they mean track. And 5,000 meters means exactly 5,000 meters. And 5K means it's about 5K on the road. Although, for USATF or like official chip timing purposes, it's usually very meticulously measured. But I think it's more apparent when you start talking about like ultra races, like a 100-mile race. It could be like 106 miles or so, but they'll call it a 100, based on like the route. So I think those are like the technical differences in those naming conventions. But yeah, for a 5K time trial, people are probably just running around their neighborhood. Dr. Funk says, Nike clearly didn't respect Cushlon, because can you imagine the shoe being called the Nike Air Zoom Cushlon Pegasus 36? It does sound funny when you say it that way. And they almost had for the last couple of years when they were using Cushlon, you had to really dig to find it. I don't think they even mentioned it on their website that it was Cushlon. I remember there were years where I was getting on the chat support with Nike, like on the website, and be like, what's the carrier for this foam? And they'd be like, it's Zoom Air. I'm like, no, what's around the Zoom Air? And they'd be like, it's the Nike Zoom Air Pegasus. I'm like, can you get me someone else that knows what the midsole foam is made out of? And so that's how it would go. Sometimes it'd be right away, I get the answer. Other times it'd be like a dance, but I don't think they were like trying to obfuscate. It's just sometimes some of the chat people are like actual runners and like professional runners. And other times it's people that have help desk experience. Rob Van Spowen says, hi, Kofuzi. I run the same 5K 5 days a week. Can you recommend a training schedule with some different types of run to improve my strength and speed? Yeah, I would say if you have time to mix it up, if you're running the 5K 5 days a week, most people would on the weekend go for a longer run instead of the same 5K. And then probably the run before that, if you're not going to put a rest day in it, make that one shorter. But if let's say you got 5 runs and you're doing 15 miles a week, I would say maybe your Saturday or your weekend run, make that a little bit longer. So maybe make that a 5-mile run, maybe a 6-mile run. And then on another one of your runs, probably about half a week separated from your long run, maybe make that a workout day where you're running a little bit harder. But those are some different things that you can do with your training schedule. So maybe a Tuesday or a Wednesday, Saturday kind of thing. So a long run and a workout. But I think the other thing that would probably give you the biggest bang for your buck, probably doing a speed workout would probably be the most instant gratification. But my biggest recommendation would be to run more. make sure you get in a long run, an easy long run, and try to up that. I mean, 5 days a week is a lot of times a week, but try to, make some of those days a little bit longer. All right, scrolling down a little bit further. Jody says, I was thinking today's live stream was actually focused on running shoes, and then you pulled out the poop emoji. Now I'm definitely on the right live stream. Yeah, I did have to stop today while I was out there on the trail too, for emoji reasons. And I think that was my first time pooping in snow. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. Sean Marshall says it can be confusing when we actually focus. I was thinking, and I didn't have time to look it up. Maybe you guys know offhand or not. But here's what I was thinking. I'm trying to do more giveaways of stuff, and rather than having like Googleable information, what I would love to be able to do, because we talked about having like live stream bingo, is some way where I can distribute to you guys, or like you guys could go to a website and I can populate like 30 different things, and you get like a random assortment on your own bingo card. And if there was like a way we could play bingo with like cowbell, a poop reference, pizza, like all the things that normally distract me. If we could have that, I think that would be fun. And like whoever gets bingo first wins. But then I was like, well, then how do I verify? Like, I mean, I guess I'd have to like, maybe you'd have to post pictures somewhere of your bingo card. I don't know. I'm not sure how we're going to do all that, but I think that's where I'm going. That's where I'm at. I think that's there's a lot of steps between here and there, but that's where that's where I'd like it to go. Because then like the distractions and like my stream of consciousness has more of a purpose. Then it becomes like part of the show rather than like a weird side feature. It's an actual like built in to it. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know if there's like is there like a website for that I can do that? I don't know. I mean, like I remember like in law school we would play bingo, where although like I wasn't invited to the cool kids club, I knew of other kids or other students that were playing the bingo, and we would like kind of like mock the professors, and because they had all of the like kind of like turns of phrase that were very common, or like they would mock other students. And so like you would play bingo during class to pass time. There's got to be something like that. Yeah, Jonah says, find a programmer, skilled one could probably create something like that to bingo. Yeah, I'm going to try and do it like, I don't know, like there's like things like countdown timers and like there's usually something like online that's like, if you're willing to look at an ad, you can do it. But I don't know, maybe we gotta do something, figure out a way to do that. Because I don't want to go to because then I'm like, well, then like who hosts that? I gotta host that. Why do I host it? How do I do that? Do I make like a WordPress page, or I don't know. I mean, I guess so there's like Sean saying it's Bingco, nice, or Binco, yeah. Yeah, I think bingo, but Bingo. Kofuzi. Well, Kofuzi 6 letters, but I don't know. And Runner Dre says, my school uses Kahoots for trivia. It tells you who clicks the correct answer the fastest. You know what's funny about Kahoots? Kahoots is a lot of fun. My niece, so like all the cousins were playing, and like my daughter was playing trivia, and they were doing like a Zoom call and playing trivia like on Kahoots at the same time, and it was like super cute. And like these like 8 to 11-year-olds were like getting together, arranged it, scheduled it, sat down, and like did like a Zoom meeting on a weekend day. And I was like, wow, I'm proud of you guys. And they use Kahoots for that. I think it's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah. Kasaba says, check out Kahoot for the online quiz. Maybe that's why. Maybe I'll look at Kahoot and see if there's ways that I can work with that. I don't know. Sean says, Kahoot is an unprepared teacher's best friend. I bet. I can only imagine. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, Matt Vo says we did it with Zoom for the work Christmas party. Yeah, I think it works out great. I think it's a lot of fun to have. Yeah. David Litzone also loves Kahoot. Very cool. So maybe I gotta look into that. We'll look into something like that. Runner Will says, Jamie and my entire Texas limelight is out there in the snow wondering what happened. Yeah. Runner Will, what's going on, man? We were talking about the snow a little bit earlier. I heard they got someone was mentioning there was 4 inches in Lubbock. I don't know how far that is from Austin. But yeah, I got some friends that live down in Austin, and like their kids are Michigan. Like, well, they were born and raised in, well, for the most, they were until they moved to Austin, but they were born in Chicago. Their parents are both Michiganders, so like they're very accustomed to like real snow and real winter. But like they've been in Texas now for a couple of years, so like they were super excited again. Juan Paulo Cordero says, "Co, for someone with zero fitness, what kind of run can you recommend for a beginner? Do we go straight into a 5K? No, just worry about time, right? And I would say, worry about creating good habits. Don't worry about your distance. Don't worry about your pace. Don't worry about your speed or whatever this time. Do a lot of run walking. That's okay. But I would say like set a time for yourself, say like 20 minutes, and you're going to go out for 10 minutes and then turn around and come back for 10 minutes and do that one day. And then either try to do it like every other day, get into a good habit, a good rhythm of like 3-4 activities per week. And then when you're doing that, then maybe that 20 minutes becomes all jogging or all running. And then, you keep building from there, and go slowly. I think the thing that a lot of people that are going from like couch to 5K, or just starting from scratch are like, I got to go out there. Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm going to run hard today. And you have a great run. But then for the next 4 days, you feel terrible. And so then you get derailed. You're not hurt, but you're just like, oh, I'm sore. I'm going to rest today. Oh, I'm still sore. I'm going to rest today. Now it's been 3 days. Oh, I don't know if I want to run anymore. Life's getting in the way. So all that stuff happens. So I'd say like beginning to run is not about running. It's about it's about building good habits. So there we go. All right. And Jody says couch to 5K is a great start for new runners. We use it for our running club for new runners. Yeah, I think a lot of people have had good success with couch to 5K. So like I've never really looked at it very closely, but I've heard a lot of good stuff for it. So, all right. I think we're going to leave it there. But where did it go? Where was that? Juan Paulo, hope you, if you're the new runner, welcome. Hope you have a great experience and keep coming back. We'd love to hear how it's going, or if someone that is starting from zero and wants to pick up running, let us know how it's going. We'd love to see how that journey goes. All right, that's it for today. Tomorrow's video is going to be about the endorphin speed after 100 miles, so check out for that in the morning. And then we'll do another live stream. It's Monday, so it'll be Monday mukbang. I don't know what I'm going to eat yet. I didn't order new food. And I'll kind of explain more why, but so I don't know what I'm going to eat tomorrow for Monday's mukbang, but I will figure something out. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central Time. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.